I'm happy now to just introduce you Mr. Hubertus Weyer, and he will be delivering the keynote en- entitled COILs and co-teaching the internationalization of future skills, language skills, and subject-specific teaching and learning. Um, Hubertus Weyer has been the coordinator of the Business, English, and Communication section at Wiesbaden Business School at Hochschule RheinMain and lecturer for Business, English, co-teaching, collaborative online international learning, and he holds a master's degree in American Studies, English Philology, and Business Studies. And he has been teaching online, developing innovative teaching and learning methodologies in multiple universities. So, Hubertus, thank you very much that you are here with us today, and the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this very kind introduction, and thank you for all of the talks and the program yesterday, which I felt was highly stimulating and forward-looking. I'm going to share my screen and show you my slides. And um, so, in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about basically, internationalizing future skills, and then I'm going to present two methods, a number of selected projects that we've implemented. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the methodology, but also some of the data that we've collected. And I will leave room for discussion at the end. So let me begin here, just to be clear about whether I belong to Hochschule RheinMain or Wiesbaden Business School. Evidently, Wiesbaden Business School is integrated with Hochschule RheinMain, where basically the business studies department are located in Wiesbaden, right in the middle of Germany. And I'm saying this to all of our international participants who may be confused about me being associated with two institutions. It's one institution, and Hochschule RheinMain is the main institution. Just for clarification, like 2 years ago, I got a full position at Hochschule RheinMain, and was very interesting, good contractual conditions. But the problem was that I didn't have almost, I had almost no classes due to a reform of the existing study programs that we had. Basically, I had very few classes to teach, and 80% of the hours that I have to teach and my colleagues have to teach, had to be somehow filled differently. We just didn't have any hours anymore. And the question was, how can we implement internationalization? How can we teach a subject like English? How can we teach aspects from business studies in a way that is different? And I'm showing you this, a screenshot of a TED talk that I gave a few months ago. If you want to know if you want to know more about the prehistory, you can watch the TED talk. And in the last 2 years, we found very good solutions to a challenge that seemed almost insurmountable at the time. How can you teach without having your own classes? It became very soon. It became clear to me that we would have to integrate with other universities and with other instructors. So the first method that I want to show you is collaborative online international learning. That's the abbreviation COIL. And you can look at this subject from different angles. I'm going to look at it from the sort of perspective of the students, so to speak. Basically, you have several institutions: University A, University B, University C, and then you form mixed groups. In each group, you would have students from each institution. So you have mixed groups, and then students can collaborate and do things together. That would be basically the idea of a COIL that we have been pursuing. But there is more. What is a COIL? How can we integrate a COIL into our traditional ways of teaching? We heard a lot yesterday about how we're kind of almost boxed in our traditional ways. And what you can see here is a university building, and then you can see an instructor and the students. And most of our classes and modules are lecture style like. Sometimes they are seminar like, but often lecture style like. So what you can do is basically have such a class and then add a COIL. And the COIL will happen in systems like Zoom, Padlet. Students also, communicate asynchronously. If they don't want to meet on Zoom or say Discord or something, then they can use messaging services like WhatsApp. So that's one possibility that we've been pursuing. But the moment we did this, it wasn't only a way to kind of implement English or business English in our classes. The moment we did this, we started changing our entire style of teaching, and it became very clear soon that the COIL, the collaboration, is at the center of the entire class. The lectures will only serve to sort of support our students in performing in the class. And when I was listening to the talks yesterday, I think we had a panel discussion on student participation. I was thinking this is actually another example of how students, can participate in, say, the teaching and the learning process in a very different way if they meet, in semi-autonomous or autonomous independent groups and do work in there. And the lectures that we do enable them to do that. So we very quickly went from an idea to simply teach business English to a different teaching method. And that's why I asked this question yesterday when we were talking about artificial intelligence. How our presenters were feeling about you know collaboration as a new way of learning and a new way of working as well. And this idea is kind of fueled by the massive spread of artificial intelligence and the room that it gives us, but also the importance, of course, of artificial intelligence as a method. um, so collaboration is at the center. And now you may say, well, this is kind of a theoretical thing, and why should people engage in this? Have a look at this. This is a student who only very recently, in February 2025, gave a poster presentation as an oral exam. And he's a working student, and he kind of related that he was working for a company that designs the equipment to sort of standardized equipment that makes it possible for larger companies to connect their locations to equip the rooms, but also individuals, so that they have the possibility to collaborate. And he said he participated in the COIL because not because we have the best equipment. We don't. We only have the equipment that our students have and maybe the software that we can provide. But he said it was very interesting for him to participate because, well, this is what he's seeing in his company. And I think we can assume that collaboration will increasingly become more important in the workplace as we go forward. And again, the sort of fundamental idea behind this is that we move away from a hierarchical understanding of teaching and learning and working to a more participatory learning, understanding of learning. And I take this idea sort of from my own time when I was working in German industry, in the steel industry, from lean management. But you can take this idea from many sources, also from teaching methodology. This is not uncommon, but it's very difficult to do. And today's presentation, I hope, will illustrate how this shift from objectivist to constructivist learning can be done concretely as a hands-on approach. Now, let me show you a few of the projects that we have implemented so far. This is the longest running and most established COIL. It includes another German university, one university in Poland, and for some time we even had a second university in Poland. So it's 4 institutions in one collaboration, and this COIL has been implemented 4 or 5 times so far. This semester, I'm doing a new COIL with a university in India. Last semester, we had a COIL with another German university and 2 universities in Ukraine, in Kiev and Lviv. And also last semester, we did a COIL with a university in Turkey. So the space that I gained from being freed from my traditional courses has quickly been filled with a large number of projects, and some of them I'm showing to you here. Now you may wonder, do people really participate in this? This was a big point that we raised yesterday. How can we increase student participation? What is student participation, and so on? And this is a final presentation of a COIL. Students, come together for 6 weeks, and then they work on tasks autonomously or semi-autonomously. And you can see a large group here of almost 8 students who are presenting their work. And I want to give you a few numbers here from last semester from one COIL. That COIL included 4 universities, so we had instructors collaborate from 4 universities, and we integrated 150 students from all 4 universities. So the level of participation in COILs is very high because they are technically relatively easy to implement if you have a team of instructors like you see here that is able to collaborate. And the aspect of collaboration on the instructor level is a separate topic. Just to show you a little bit how we communicate with our students, we give them tasks through Padlet. We give them a time frame and milestones. We give them feedback in between. And then at the end, students produce something like a portfolio that includes, say, a final presentation, a group presentation, or a video. Maybe it depends a little bit on how large the COIL is. And you're seeing 2 presentations here: financial literacy and something else. Now, we also include reflective meetings in which students have to reflect on the collaboration and what exactly is collaboration these days. You could say, well, collaboration is just working together, but it includes many things. I would almost say collaboration is a major part of what we've been discussing as future skills yesterday. So we did a little bit of a group formation test with them, and people reflected on that. And it's about the experience of collaboration, and then your linguistic skills, your business English skills, your intercultural competencies, your collaborative skills, your digital literacy, all of these skills taken together figure in those reflective meetings, and figure, of course, in the COIL work, if you will. And in that sense, COIL is highly action oriented. It's active learning. It's much more effective, as active learning is always more effective than sort of lecture style passive ways of learning. Let me kind of not only say that, but try to prove it to you. I have some qualitative evidence here. It's only selected statements, of course. This is from a reflective meeting. We don't record these meetings, but I sometimes take notes and transcribe them a little bit. And one student was particularly interesting. That's the statement below the picture. Said that he would not have participated as much in the class if the COIL had not been there. And then he also said that the combination of an on-site class, of an on-site in-person class with a COIL was very effective for him. And I was extremely pleased about the student saying that, because he was always sitting in the last row. And one of these students that, as you know, we instructors don't take note of too much, because they sit so far removed from us in these tiered level classrooms. Another student made a very interesting comment, that COILs are effective, or collaborative learning is effective, because it takes more than one interaction to truly learn something. I felt that was telling too. But let me give you also some data. We survey our students, we survey the participants of the COILs, and we survey our students in general. And you can see with these bar charts, the second one, the pink one, for instance, deeper understanding of how collaborating with others is a worthwhile capability. You can see that lots of students, I think this is a survey with about 60 respondents, 40 said yes, the COIL actually helped me understand that collaboration offers an added value. And we could go through other aspects, and we can basically show that students benefit from doing COIL work. Now, you may wonder, how do we grade COIL work? How do we grade these classes? In my classes, I do reflective oral exams, and I think my colleague, who you're seeing in the picture here, is even present right now. And the student gave me permission to show this picture. This is from a recent reflective oral exams. So reflective oral exams are a good way to assess people and to find out what level they have reached. We, in fact, do a combination of reflective oral exams and a traditional pen and paper final written exam, if you will. But we have another way of motivating our students. If they participate in the COIL, they receive a certificate. Sometimes students post this on LinkedIn. This is an example, and it's another point where I thought this is maybe a way in which students participate differently in university teaching and learning. And as we heard yesterday, future skills are kind of part of any approach in collaborative learning. I'm referring to creating the University of the Future, a book that was referred to yesterday, and we could look at definitions in there. I have come up with a definition that works for our context specifically well. And we also heard that yesterday. Well, first of all, we heard that future skills is a framework that has been defined, I think, about 100 times, and we have our own definition. In our own definition, collaboration is at the center. Collaboration, a deeper understanding of the added value of collaboration is at the center, and then you can add layers around that include AI and the specific subject that you teach. So the point that I'm making here is also a COIL can be integrated into any class, not only a business class, not only the classes that I teach, or the human resources classes, for instance, but it can also be integrated into an accounting class or an engineering class or an informatics class, most definitely. And then if you go back to the sort of the circular structure that I'm showing you, collaboration is at the center. Then you have the subject, the specific subject, including AI, and then around that you have your language skills, your communicative skills, and of course your intercultural competence, because remote teams will necessarily be very diverse, and it's extremely important that our students are equipped with intercultural competencies for their future work. And it may even be a situation like with the student that I showed you, that they're doing this already. Now, this is collaboration is at the center is maybe a good transition, and I'm hoping I'm not going over time too much. Co-teaching is another big approach that we've been pursuing. You can see a co-teaching class here, another one. What is co-teaching? Co-teaching is collaboration between instructors. In our case, it's mostly local instructors. like these two gentlemen here that you see here are colleagues of mine, and we teach together, and that brings a lot of benefit to our students. I'll give you again some qualitative evidence here. People say by having two instructors in the classroom, there was more interaction. So we look at the same subject, but from two sort of perspectives. We complement each other. We not only share the teaching load, but we teach together. And then people say having two instructors is a refreshing idea, especially when compared to the classic lecture format. So again, collaboration on the instructor level offers added value to our students, and there's more. This module is much more versatile than the other modules. So we have very positive feedback on this idea of co-teaching, and of course, the idea of co-teaching still requires definition, and I'm in touch with people who have done a little bit more work on this. We pursue two models. One is very simple. It's more like helping instructors do their class in English. That's the model A, and the model B is really teaching together and creating added value. And in most cases, it's a mixture of models A and B. And I'm almost at the end of my talk now. Next semester, we're going to combine a co-teaching class with a COIL. So we're going to integrate a COIL into a co-teaching class, and that should increase the student participation drastically, we think. Now, I could talk a lot more about related aspects and all kinds of things that I have documented and been doing work on. I'm showing you my sources here, and I would like to thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for inviting me. And if you wish to collaborate, feel free to get in touch with me, and maybe we can find some basis to do something together.